time God wants to do something in your life, he will prepare you for what's going on. Verse 38 says it this way. Verse 38 says, although there were 276 of us on board, when they had eaten as much as they wanted, they lightened the ship by throwing grain into the sea. Somebody said, Pastor, it don't make no sense to throw away stuff in a storm. If the stuff gonna keep you from getting through the storm, throw it away. If it's going to keep you from making it out of the storm, throw it away. If it's hindering you from coming through the storm, just throw it away. Somebody said, Pastor, how do you throw away friends? You don't throw away them. You pray for them and you get away from them, because sometimes friends and family will keep you in a storm because they baggage. I might have stepped on a toe or two that time. Because baggage in a storm holds you down. If anybody here knows about swimming, if you're not a good swimmer, you can't carry nobody on your back. But if you're a great swimmer, you can. So some people in your life, you have to tell them, you know what? There's no more room for you in my life. I'm going to pray for you, but I got to let you go. Some of y'all are saying, well, Pastor, that seems kind of harsh. What could be more harsh than throwing away grain at sea when you're in a storm? It's simply saying, get rid of the stuff that's going to slow you down. But also, y'all, when you're coming out of a storm on the way to destiny, you got to understand something, that everybody ain't going to be happy with where you're going to. Everybody don't want you to make it to where God has called you to go. And that's why you have to eliminate some folks when you're going through a storm. Can I tell y'all this? Everybody in your life ain't on your team. Everybody that cheers for you is not a cheerleader for you. Everybody that claps your hand and pats you on the back ain't that to encourage you. Sometimes they're trying to put a mark on your back. You know how when you was in grade school and you would put that little sign on somebody's back that says, kick me? Sometimes in your life, people don't put stuff on you to keep you from doing what, or to hinder you along the way. But I declare to you today, I'm on a different type place. I'm in a different type place right now, because I can see my destiny right now, but I feel that I'm struggling with my situation, because when I get to my destination, I'm going to look back and say, look where the Lord has brought me from. Oh yes, my brothers and sisters, your situation is also a part of your journey to your destination. Everything that's going on in your life right now is preparing you for your tomorrow. Everything that has happened to you in your life is a blessing that you have to be able to tell somebody about tomorrow. In other words, any trouble that you've had, any problems you've had, any people that have let you down, you have a word of encouragement for somebody else. You have a reason to tell them, don't worry about it, because God has told me and has took me through some troubles. Well, yes, my brothers and sisters, that journey to your destination can only be accomplished because you are favored by God. You see, all the folks that were in the ship, on the ship with Paul, survived the shipwreck. And the reason they survived is because God had some work for Paul to do in Rome. And in order for Paul to do the work in Rome, he had to get to Rome. In other words, God will give you favor in your storm if you let him. If you follow God in your storm, he'll take care of you. If you trust God when you're going through, he'll be with you. God favored you in your storm. Somebody out here today has been in a car crash and saw themselves a way out of it. Somebody out here has been in a broken relationship and God fixed the wound in her. Somebody's been sick today and God has healed you. Somebody's been messed up and God has changed you, because God was showing you favor through your storm. And every now and again, you ought to lift your hands up like the prisoners did when they got to the shore, and wave your hands to God and say, God, you made a way for me. You favored me through my storm. When my ship was wet, you took care of me. Well, yes, my brothers and sisters, as I get ready to head to my seat, unless y'all think I missed my point, I talked to y'all about broken pieces. In other words, broken pieces are things you ought to hold on to. Not in your heart, but just as a symbolic representation of what it was like when you didn't have much. We can find various different places in the Bible where broken pieces show up. If you don't believe me, when they were hungry and Jesus fed them, they kept the remaining broken pieces. In other words, sometimes in your life, you need something to remind you or carry you a little farther. Can I just tell y'all, when I think about broken pieces, I think about what they call leftovers. Those things that you keep in your refrigerator after you've had a meal, so that when you get hungry again, you can go back to them and they'll provide some nourishment in your life. Everybody here today ought to hold on to some broken pieces, because if you don't hold on to some broken pieces, you won't be able to remind anybody of what God has done for you. When Jesus took the 5 loaves and the few fish, he blessed them and he broke them, and he fed 5,000 people, but he had 12 baskets remaining, because Jesus understood something, that when people are hungry and they eat, they're going to need to eat again. In other words, if you have anything that God has taken you through, hold on to some of it, seal it in a bag, y'all, so that you'll have something to remind you of how God did it for you. A few weeks ago, y'all, I talked about scars, but I want to tell you about broken pieces. When you've had a broken arm, y'all, when it's been healed, your arm oftentimes becomes stronger because you use it more. When you've had a broken marriage, you ought to find ways, y'all, to fix yourself after you leave that marriage. You ought to find a way to fix yourself when you come out of broken relationships. But the only way you can fix yourself from brokenness is sometimes to hold on to a piece that reminds you that you survived. If y'all will do me a favor right now, if you've been through something in your life, if you've had some brokenness, I dare not say, if you'll do me a small favor, if you'll honk your horn just to acknowledge that I am a survivor. When you are a survivor, that means that there's nothing in your life that can hold you back, because you survived the shipwreck called disaster. When you're a survivor, y'all, you can be like Paul. You can be on the ship for 14 days and not eat a meal and be encouraged by the fact that God has promised you that he's going to take you through. I just want y'all to know this morning that I'm a survivor. I've survived through many toils and snares. I'm a survivor, y'all. I've survived failure. I've survived bankruptcy. I've tripped and I've failed. But every time you survive something, it means that you have to do like Jesus did when he went to the tomb, when they talked about him, when they lied on him, when they nailed him to a cross. You have to be like Jesus in your struggle. You have to get up in complete wholeness and let folks know that I am a survivor. When Jesus got up, he didn't get up with broke power. He got up with all power. He didn't get up with nothing to shout about. He got up and acknowledged. He told them, y'all, a time or two that I'm coming back for you. The only thing that allows you to come back is you had some broken pieces that came back together. I am a survivor, y'all. I've been shipwrecked. I'm living off broken pieces. But my broken pieces are my acknowledgement to God that he's been good to me. If the Lord's been good to you, you don't have to honk your horn. You don't have to wave your hand. But I just want you to look back inside and remember what he did for you. Because every time I think about how good God has been to me, I just feel like shouting. I feel like jumping for joy. I feel like looking back and looking back on the dirt roads of Screamer, Alabama, looking back at when my grandmama didn't have electricity or no water in their house, looking back at the wood burning stoves that hid the house up, looking back at the paper food stamps and reminding myself of how good God's been with to me. Every now and again, you can't be ashamed to testify about how good God has been to you. Somebody here today ought to just shout for me. Put your hands up. Let the world know I'm happy because I've been saved. I'm proud because I have survived on some broken pieces. As we get ready to bring this service to a conclusion, wherever you find yourself at, whatever you find yourself going through, it is my recommendation that on your way to the hospital if you're sick, you call on Jesus. On your way to the courtroom, if you're in legal trouble, you call on Jesus. On your way to the bank, you call on Jesus. I petition you, I plead with you that you say these words to him. You say, Lord, you know my story. You know my situation. And you know the plans that you have for me. So Lord, I stand here today and I acknowledge the broken pieces. I acknowledge that you're carrying me on broken pieces. But Lord, when I get to the banks and I turn around, God, and I look back over everything you've done for me, I simply say, Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing me home. We offer Christ to you this morning. If you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, we offer Christ to you this morning. Because Christ will give you everything you need in your brokenness. He'll take what's messed up. He'll take the complaint that people call ugly and form it into something so wonderful and so great. So we offer Christ to you this morning. I'm praying that you accept Christ in your situation as he's taking you to your destination. Is that one today? Is that one today?
We're so blessed to be your children.
Is that somebody here today that needs some help, needs some hope, needs some comfort? God's calling you. Just because you're socially distant doesn't mean you have to stay away from the Lord. If you need prayer, just stick your hand out your window and come on. I'm going to pray for you. Oh, gracious and eternal God. God, you see the request that came in various forms, God. Some said them in their head. Some posted it online. Some humped their horn. Some raised their hand. Some stuck it out of the window, God. But God, we understand, God, that you are able and capable, God, of fixing every situation in our lives. You're capable of using those situations, God, to take us farther. So, God, we thank you right now, God, for healing, for deliverance, for change, for encouragement, for motivation, for picking us up, for carrying us, for delivering us. Whatever it is, God, we thank you for it right now. In Jesus' name we pray.